Morphology, the Word of Language by Madana. Content words and function words. Language make an important distinction between two kinds of words. Content words and function words. Nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs are the content words. These words denote concepts such as objects, action, attributes, and ideas that we can think about, like children, anarchism, shore, and purple. Content words called the open class words because we can add and regularly to add new words to this class. Other classes of words do not have clear lexical meanings or obvious concepts associated with them, including conjunction such as and or and but, prepositions such as in and of, the article and the n or a or n, pronouns such as it. These kinds of words are called function words because they specify grammatical relation and have little or no semantic content. Morpheme, the minimal units of meaning. A morpheme may be represented by a single sound, such as the morpheme of meaning without, as in immoral and asexual, or by a single syllable, such as child and ish in childish. A morpheme may also consist of more than one syllable by two syllables, as in camel, lady, and water, by three syllables, as in hackensack and crocodile, or by four or more syllables, as in hallucinate, apothecary, and onomatopoeia. A morpheme, the minimal linguistic unit, is thus an arbitrary union of sound and meaning, or grammatical function that cannot be further analyzed. It is often called a linguistic sign, not to be confused with the sign of sign language. This may be simple definition, but it will serve our purpose for now. Every word in every language is composed of one or more morphemes. Internet bloggers love to point out inconsistencies in the English language. Bound and free morphemes. Our morphological knowledge has two components: knowledge of the individual morpheme and knowledge of the rules that combine them. One of the things we know about particular morphemes is whether they can stand alone or whether they must be attached to a base morpheme. Some morphemes like boy, desire, gentle, and man, many constitute words by themselves. These are free morphemes. Other morphemes like ish, nest, lie, pre, trans, and on are never words by themselves, but are always parts of words. These affixes are bound morphemes. We know whether each affix precedes or follows other morphemes. Thus, on, premeditate, prejudge, and bipolar, bisexual are prefix. They occur before other morphemes. Some morphemes occur only as suffixes, following other morphemes. English examples of suffix morphemes are ing, sleeping, eating, running, climbing, and earn, singer, performer, reader, eats in typist, pianist, novelist, linguist, and ly in manly, sickly, friendly, to mention only a few. Roots and stems. Morphologically complex words consist of a morpheme root and one or more affixes. Some examples of English roots are pain in painter, read in reread, save in conceive, and link in linguistic. A root may or may not stand alone as a word. Pain and read to save and link don't. In language that have circumfix, the root is the form around which the circumfix attached. For example, the Chickasaw wrote chocolate in Chikomo is not good. In infixing language, the root is one form into which the infix is inserted. For example, ficus in the bones of word formicus, to be strong. Semitic languages like Hebrew and Arabic have a unique morphological systems. Nouns and verbs are built on a foundation of three consonants and one derived related word by varying the pattern of vowels and syllables. Bound roots. Bound roots do not occur in isolation and they occur meaning only in combination with other morphemes. For example, words of Latin origin such as receive, conceive, perceive, and deceive share a common root, sieve. And the words remit, permit, commit, submit, transmit, and admit share the root mit. For the original Latin speakers, the morphemes corresponding to sieve and mit had clear meanings. But for modern English speakers, Latin morphemes such as sieve and mit have no independent meaning. Their meaning depends on the entire word in which they occur. A similar class of word is composed of a prefix affixed to bound morpheme. Examples are ungainly but no gainly, discern but no cern, non-plus but no plus, don't hurt but no hurt, and others to be seen in this section everywhere. See rules of word formation. When the mock turtlist branch of arithmetic for Alice as addition, action, amplification, and derision, Alice was very confused. She was not really a simple thing since amplification was not a common word in English until Lewis Carroll used it. Still, most English speakers will immediately know the meaning of uglification even if they had never heard of use the word before, because they will know the meaning of its individual parts. The root ugly and the F is IV and cation. We said earlier that knowledge of morphology includes knowledge of individual morphemes, their pronunciation and their meaning, and knowledge of the rules of combining morphemes into complex words. Derivational morphology. Bound morphemes like IV and cation are called derivational morphemes when they are added to base. Any word with a new meaning is derived. The addition of IV to purify means to make pure, and the addition of cation, purification, means the process of making pure. If we invent an adjective positive to describe the effect of static electricity on hair, you will immediately understand the sentence: walking on that carpet really posified my hair. The best method of posification is to rub pollen on your head. This means that we must have a list of the derivational morphemes in our mental dictionaries, as well as the rules that determine how they are added to a root or stem. The form that results from the addition of a derivational morpheme is called derived word. Inflectional morphology. Function words like to and be are free morphemes. Mainly languages, including English, also have bound morphemes that have a strictly grammatical function. They mark properties such as tense, number, person, and so forth. Such bound morphemes are called inflectional morphemes, unlike derivational morphemes. They never change the grammatical category or the stems to which they are attached. The hierarchical structure of words. We saw earlier that the morphemes are added in a fixed order. This order reflects the hierarchical structure of the word. A word is not simply a sequence of morphemes, it has an internal structure. For example, the word unsystematic is composed of three morphemes: on, system, and ethic. Third system is a noun to which we add the suffix ethic, resulting in an adjective systematic. To this adjective we add the prefix on, forming a new adjective. Unsystematic, in order to represent the hierarchical organization of word and sentence. Linguists use tree diagrams. Real productivity. We have noted that some morphological process inflection in particular are productive, meaning that they can be used freely to form new words. From the list of free and bound morphemes among derivational morphemes, the suffix able can be conjoined with any verb to derive an adjective with the meaning of the verb and the meaning of able, which is something like able to be, as in accept plus able, love plus able, best plus able, sense plus able, breed plus able, other plus able, and so on. The productivity of this rule is illustrated by the fact that we find able affixed to new verbs such as downloadable and flexible. Other morphological processes. Two or more words may be joined to form new compound words. English very flexible in this kind of combination, permitted when the two words are in the same grammatical category. The compound also be in this category: noun plus noun, sama dengan noun, as in girlfriend, fighter, plus bomber, paperclip, elevator, respirator, landlord, mailman, adjective plus adjective as in icy cold, red hot, worldly wise in English. The rightmost word compound is the head of the compound. The head is the part of a word or phrase that determines its broad meaning and grammatical category. Thus, when the two words fall into different categories, the class of the second or final determines grammatical category of the compound. Noun plus adjective, elaborate adjective as in headstrong, from plus noun, elaborate noun as in pocket. On the other hand, compounds from it preposition are in the category of the non-prepositional part of the compound, such as to, overtake, or descend down. Full sunrest. Our knowledge of the morphological rule of our language is often revealed by the errors we may guess the meaning of a word we don't know. Sometimes we guess wrong, but our wrong guesses are nevertheless intelligent. MZ Green collected error made by her student in vocabulary, building classes, and published them in a book called Puyol's Surprises. The title is taken from a sentence written by one of her high school students in 1957. Eugene O'Neill won a Pulitzer Prize. What is most interesting about these errors is how much they reveal about the student's knowledge of English morphology. The sign of language morphology. Sign language are rich in morphology, like spoken language. Sign belong to grammatical categories. They have roots and affix, morphemes, pre and bound morphemes, lexical and content, and grammatical morphemes, derivational and inflectional morphemes, and morphological rules word combination to form morphologically complex signs. The affixation is accomplished by preceding or following a particular gesture with another affixing gesture. E. Morphological analysis, identifying morphemes. Speakers of a language have knowledge of the internal structure of a word because their mental grammars include a mental lexicon of morphemes and their morphological rules of word combination. Morphological analysis is the process of identifying for meaning units in a language, taking into account small differences in pronunciation. Thank you.